All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. We are seeing some massive dumpage on Bitcoin. We are crashing in the markets today, and it is not looking good for Bitcoin, guys. We are at our local support level that we laid out in yesterday's video, but it is highly likely that we do continue to dump here, even if we see a small bounce from this area. It is highly likely that this downtrend does continue and that we do come to lower levels. So welcome in, everybody. Let me see if this chat. Okay, chat is not really working for me right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see. Okay, so guys, Bitcoin is seeing some pretty big dumpage today. We are losing some support of our ascending channel. Now, this ascending channel is important because it was taken from our last two major lows on the chart. And that is kind of our trend. And of course, I took it up to the 2024 all-time high. And we are, after rejecting from the midline of the channel a couple times here, we are losing our sideways range and we're starting to dump. But yesterday's daily candle, you can see here, we closed it right at the bottom of the channel, pretty much right at that bottom of the channel there. And now we are starting to dump and lose it with volume to the downside, showing that this could be a real breakdown of a bigger channel. Sure, can we come and bounce from maybe some support below to see a back test of that general area before seeing more downside? Absolutely, that's actually likely. But it's not looking good for Bitcoin, guys. On the daily time frame, we're in the very close to invalidating our bullish divs to the downside. Money flow is just crossing over into the red, and NAMI has already invalidated the local daily bull divs to the downside. We could see some higher regional bear divs, bull divs, excuse me, come into play on the daily, but it's not looking good here. It's not looking good at all. But welcome in, everybody. It looks like the chat's working for the first time. The lows of 2022. I believe the top is in and missed the selling again. Yeah, Andrew, it could be, but we should get at least some sort of relief rally where we'll have a chance to sell. And so we can really pay attention to that. After bouncing from major support, maybe 96.5 or 92K, we might get a rally up to about 107 or 110K where we could potentially sell. But welcome in, Andrew. Welcome in, Alpha G. Welcome in, R Pink. Thank you so much for being here in Modern. And welcome in, Lancer. You're long. Okay, well, you know, we are at local support, and this low that we hit in today could be the bottom for today, but it is not looking good. So I want to cover some macro stuff on Bitcoin real quick, and then we'll go into the lower time frames. But before we do that, just real quickly, in yesterday's video, we laid out this little local level of support. It's a daily level, and it's a naked daily point of control. And you can see that we are hitting into that general area of support. We did see some wickage pass it, of course, with some liquidations, but we could see a small bounce from this area. But the big thing that I want to highlight here is, and I highlighted this in yesterday's video, really, we saw yesterday the first daily candle close below our key anchored VWAP from 74K. And let me go ahead and zoom out to that daily time frame. And this was really important for me because with this anchored VWAP from 74K, we have maintained overall bullish market structure and bullish sentiment this entire time. And now, after losing market structure on the daily time frame by taking out our 107K lows, we broke daily market structure bearishly, assuming that we could make a lower low and a lower high and another lower low in here. And so we are coming down to that general area, breaking down below our anchored VWAP support. And this has been our trend, our bullish trend, our sentiment that we wanted to maintain above if we were going to continue to break out to new all-time highs. Well, with yesterday, you can see on yesterday's candle close, we closed our first daily candle below it. We did see a daily close here and a pretty big wick past it, but the very next day we reclaimed it. And in yesterday's video, I said, guys, we might see another fake out like that, but it's far less likely. And the only reason we saw a fake out like this of the anchored VWAP and then a push up is because we had a range that had formed and we had some liquidity at the highs of the range. Well, we came and took the liquidity of the highs of that range took the liquidity of all the people that shorted the dead cat bounce. And now, after wrecking both sides of our range, we are continuing our overall move to the downside. And it was far more likely that this time, if we saw a daily candle close below that anchored VWAP, it was going to be a real breakdown. And sure enough, today, look at our daily candle opened. Today's daily candle opened below the anchored VWAP. We came up to that anchored VWAP, rejected it earlier, and then we saw the big drop to the downside. So for me, this is really scary. We are almost in some ways confirming a flip of this anchored VWAP from support over the past couple of weeks to now resistance, at least on today's candle. If we zoom back in onto that hourly chart, you know, this was our close below it yesterday, and we came back up and we rejected from that anchored VWAP, and now we're continuing to impulse to the downside here. And it just doesn't look good as far as this retracement goes, this crash goes for Bitcoin. Now, I also laid out in yesterday's video, if we are seeing a flat correction in here, and we look at our one-to-one targets to our 1.236 Fibonacci extinction targets, we are in the general zone where you would expect a bounce if we were going to see a bigger flat correction of after, you know, our new lows of the range were made, we see that kind of flat correction, and then we can come back up that in a bullish scenario. It's not looking likely to me. The way that we are pushing down here is not looking very likely to me. But there is still a possibility we could be seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you could count a double 1, 2 in here. And then we were looking yesterday at a potential bigger, you know, that's a 5 wave. We would, to me, we would not be done with this overall bigger 5 wave impulse to the downside then. So it is looking scary. I want to cover some of the pitchforks. Yeah, hit those likes, guys. Please hit the likes for the live stream. We can go into some of the altcoins today. We will go into altcoins. We'll go into total market cap, and we'll look at macro Bitcoin. Jafiel, what is up, man? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. So, guys, yeah, losing our channel. So this channel, to me, has been pretty important because it is really our trend of the last two major lows, our 49K lows and our 74K lows. Losing that channel, you can see as soon as we finally started to break it down, you get that big flush. And honestly, we could come down. Remember what I always say with these channels, ascending channels or descending channels, when you break a channel, a trend, you oftentimes will sweep down to flush the liquidity of at least the second pivot of that channel, if not the entire liquidity of the channel. Now, with this being such a high time frame channel, it's highly unlikely that we sweep all the way down to 49K, but we could see a sweep of the second pivot of the channel, which is 74K lows. And I'm not saying that's going to happen like today, or it would take some time to get down here. We would see some bounces, but we absolutely could continue this overall downtrend of making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and continuing until we take out those 74K lows. Okay, let's go real quickly to our wave 3 pitchfork. Now, this pitchfork has been on my chart for over a full year, and we have been diagnosing and looking at this pitchfork as major key swing positions in the market. You know, when we came to the top of the pitchfork, we were looking for shorts. When we broke this upper band down, we were looking for shorts down to the midline. We lost the midline. When we rejected on the back test of the midline, we were looking to come down to the lower band. We bounced from the lower band, upper band, midline, upper band, midline, but now we're losing the midline. And I showed this in last week's live stream. Losing the midline, 2-3 back tests of it bearishly, and I said there was a high probability we could drop to the lower band again. And we are hitting into that lower band today. We are seeing some support come in at this general area. So with a naked daily point of control, with our daily level here, this could be the low for today. But because we are starting to close those daily candles underneath that key anchored VWAP, we might be seeing just a small bounce here, and this bounce could last a couple days. We might be seeing a small bounce to see now a higher time frame back test of that anchored VWAP before continuing the breakdown here, coming down maybe even to 92 or 90K, 92 to 94K. We do have a very key point of control coming in around, let's see, let me throw that on there. That point of control is coming in around 96,500, and I do think we will get some sort of reaction from this point of control. But other than that, if we pull that Fibonacci from the lows of 74K to our all-time highs, and we look at our golden pocket, that golden pocket is coming in around 93 to 92K, which is where our value area low of our range is. And if we look at the value area low of our current range, on Bybit, 93K. If I go to the Coinbase chart, it does look a bit nicer here. So let me go ahead and grab that macro range. And then if we throw on, I believe I have it on the charts already. Yeah, right there. 92,500 is 92.5, 92.6 here. Value area low of our range in confluence with that golden pocket. And there is a potential that we could see continue maybe a small bounce from 96.5 to back test that anchored VWAP before coming down to value area low. And then we might be able to finally get some sort of relief rally here before continuing maybe a potential breakdown. But yeah, this is concerning for Bitcoin. And I want to cover a couple more things on the macro time frame before we go into, I know Bitcoin is starting to see a little micro bounce right now, but before we go into that, I do want to cover a couple more things. So let's go into our multi-cycle pitchfork. This is pulled from the COVID lows up to the bull market highs of 65K and then down to the bear market lows. We are rejecting now from that midline, that pitchfork midline. And after rejecting that pitchfork midline kind of a third time, there's a possibility we could come all the way down to our lower band, or to the lower band of the pitchfork. So, and you can see that's coming in around, 78 to 80K. And then the bottom is coming in around 70K, which is a very, very key support, 72K. It is not looking good. It is not looking good what we are seeing here. And then lastly, let's see here. Let's go to that. I'll show you guys this pitchfork in a second. But we talked about our 5-wave Elliott impulse to the upside. I've been talking about this for months on the channel. And after our 5-wave impulse completes here, oftentimes you will see a correction. Now, at the very beginning of this impulse here, I talked about a bigger flat correction occurring in a very bullish market, where after that flat correction occurs, we could then start to take off again in some sort of super cycle. But if we look at that flat correction, first off, we did hit our target, the 1.382. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let me hide this range for a second. And if we look at our Fibonacci extinctions, let's do this, expansion targets, and we look at just that 1.382. We did reject from that 1.382 Fibonacci extinction target, and that is one of the flat correction targets if we're going to see a flat correction come in here, where then we could now drop and take out your 74K lows. And time-wise, we also talked about on that Fibonacci flat correction, or on that, flat correction here, ABC flat correction, a potential time that we could be looking at, that trend-based Fibonacci time here, where we could be not finishing the correction until we get all the way till middle of November. That is your minimum kind of target for a correction on high time frames. So we could be continuing this dump for a few more weeks, and this is the minimum time. It doesn't mean it has to end here. Could be continuing this dump for a few more weeks until we get into this, past this 382 Fibonacci time, and then we could see some sort of relief rally if we're in a hyper bullish scenario. But that does still mean that we could dump to take out our 74K lows. I am expecting more downside on Bitcoin overall based off of the high time frame bear divs that we were seeing, the high time frame confirmations of bear divs that we have been seeing on the chart. So if we zoom out here onto our weekly time frame, on the weekly time frame, we have some very key bearish divergences. 74K, 108K, 126K. You can see those very nice bearish divergences on the chart. Bearish divergences on money flow as well. Now that money flow is starting to tick to the downside. You can see the bear divs here on the weekly time frame, triple drive of bear divs, and we also have a triple drive of bear divs on the weekly money flow on NAMI. And anytime you see these signals combined on the two oscillators, it is a very strong signal to me. And now that we are starting to lose this key anchored VWAP, I really do think we could see some continued price action to the downside. Of course, we will get some bounces along the way, guys. It's not like we're going to go straight down like this. We're going to get nice bounces. Those bounces could last 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month or so. But I do expect overall that we might continue to make lower lows and lower highs on the chart, seeing this dump continue like it did for a few months in this area here. We might be able to see some sort of kind of price action very similar to that. The weekly candle close. This weekly candle has not closed yet, and it is only Wednesday. But if this weekly candle does close below this anchored VWAP of 74K, then it's highly likely that we continue to make new lows, at least on the chart, locally within this 2025 range. That is likely that we continue to make new lows within this range. But what is up, everybody? Paper Beats Rock, welcome in. ZMX, welcome in. Michael M, welcome in. Chad P, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, guys, just seeing a lot of volatility here. And now, before we move on and go look into some of the lower time frame stuff, I just want to cover a couple things here with our weekly Fibonacci channel. Our Fibonacci channel that is, let me go ahead and hide our pitchfork really quickly here. Oop, wrong one. Okay, so this channel has been a very, very important channel that has guided us through the entire bull market as well. I'm going to zoom out onto the 3-day time frame. I've shown this in many of my live streams, so if this is review for you, it'll only take a couple minutes. But this channel was pulled literally from the bear market bottoms up to our first major weekly break in market structure, breaking above those highs, breaking market structure, showing that we could be seeing a bull market start down to the corrective lows in this flat correction that we saw in here. And from this Fibonacci channel, you can see that really since our initial break of the channel midline, this white line here, we really have not seen too much closes below it. It has acted as support our entire bull market. Well, now we are losing that channel. We bounced from it a little bit at the bottom of the anchor VWAP. We rejected that 618 Fibonacci channel, and now we are really starting to lose this midline. And if we do start to close weekly candles below this midline, it could confirm a drop down to the bottom of the channel, which is around that 92K golden pocket. Now, the thing is, guys, if we start to lose this trend of the entire bull market, we might be able to confirm that a bear market is in, and we could be seeing a larger drop, potentially down to the 50s, 40s, mid 50s to 40s. And we'll just have to see as the data develops. This will take some time to play out, but we really want to hold this support of this bottom of this channel here. We do have the bear divs confirmed pretty much everywhere. Like if we go zoom out onto that monthly chart, on the monthly chart, we have now the bear divs confirmed as well. Triple drive of bear divs, triple drive of bear divs, money flow draining out of the asset, and money flow starting to round down on Market Cipher B. So we saw these warning signals coming. I've been warning about these for about a month now in the chat, and it is just starting to actually see the breakdown now. All right, let's real quickly move into the low time frame. Yeah, we're getting a nice little bounce from this support level. We're not really seeing the nice bull divs we want to see, though. Very, very slight bull divs on Market Cipher B between this low here and this low here, but your money flow looks kind of bearish here. And as far as NAMI goes, no hourly bull divs. Let's zoom out to our 2-hour chart. No real bull divs on the 2-hour. Money flow starting to curve out again. Going on to the 4-hour chart. Money flow looks bearish as heck. Bull divs have been now invalidated. Bull divs have been now invalidated. Money flow looking bearish as heck. So even if this is a little bit of a dead cat bounce we're going to see from this support level, we're just seeing a little bit of a liquidation relief here. But we could even watch to come up to this VWAP, reject, and then continue pushing down to that 96K area. It's not looking too good for me, guys. It's not looking too good at all. Now, in a nicer bounce that we would be seeing from this area. Let's just check the 15-minute before we talk about that. Do we have no real bull divs even on the 15-minute here? So with the lack of bull divs that we're seeing on the chart, I am not expecting much from this bounce. But if we can get a nice bounce here, if we can get back above our VWAP, then we might be seeing we broke this channel down today. We might be bouncing from local support to come back up for a higher time frame back test of the channel. And if we do reject on that back test of the channel, which is also pretty close to your anchored VWAP there, then we would see, we would expect new lows to be coming in on the chart below the lows we just made earlier today. Okay, Crypto Clown World, welcome in. A Tamale, welcome in. And Oi Oi, Joe Dirt, BG, thank you guys so much for being here. Let me check this chat real quick, and then we can look at some altcoins too. Post some of the altcoins you guys want to in the chart and in the chat. I'm going to cover the total chart here in just a second as well. Yeah, crypto 2025 is hell. In some ways, I mean, we've had a good 2025, made plenty of new all-time highs, but you know, this is the end of the 4-year cycle. It is right on track. And if that 4-year cycle is going to stay intact, then we expect the bear market to start soon. Even if it's not going to stay intact based off technical divergences and confirmations that we are showing on the chart, we can at least expect a bit of a retracement here. Kind of flush out that last, those people that longed in all of 2025 or bought in all of 2025, get them into massive fear, and then we could see the push back up. But either way, it does look like we are kind of confirming some more downside here. 50 moving average and 200 moving average death cross incoming on the daily. This entire cycle, they mark a bottom, I expect somewhere between the 5th and the 15th. Well, that's very interesting because that 15th to 18th area is going to be where we hit that 382 Fibonacci time with the corrective move. 86 to 94K golden pocket. Yeah, I think 94 to 92K is going to be a major golden pocket that we want to hold. If we want to gamble, there's a game called Rugs Fun on Soul. Okay. Will 100K hold? One with nature, I don't think it's going to hold. I personally don't think so. Now, we might see a small bounce from here, but I don't think it's going to hold. You know, even if this bounce occurs for a day or two, and we maybe even start to form a range in here. But one of the things I said in yesterday's video, guys, let me zoom out onto our 4-hour chart, and we can look at that little mini range that ended since the crash ended. So if we're looking at this range here, since the crash ended, we were kind of chopping around in this sideways range. Well, when yesterday we closed below the value area low of that range, and we closed below our anchored VWAP, I suggested that it was highly likely that we at least come take out the range lows at 103.5. But even if you go back and watch yesterday's video, I said, guys, even if we SFP this, I think it's a small probability that we're going to SFP this and get a nice move to the upside. I said it's far more likely to me that we are going to move down to 101K. And that is kind of what has happened today. We have moved down to that 101K. We are getting some sort of reaction from this level of support, which I expect. But all time frames look pretty bearish here. We don't even have 15-minute bear divs on the chart. No 15-minute, very, very small hourly bull divs with bearish money flow. We have no 2-hour, no 4-hour. Let's zoom out onto our 8-hour. No 8-hour real bull divs here. We've invalidated those 8-hour bull divs, have been invalidated on NAMI as well. Money flow leaving out on NAMI, and money flow leaving on Market Cipher B here. So we're not seeing the confirmations we want to see for a nice real bounce from this area. Not a nice real bounce. Like, we might see something small and then continue to kind of bleed or start to form a little bit of a range, as in that grindy range that occurs if we take like our channel and we do something like this, where we can see that kind of channel form now towards the end of a crash, where you start to kind of grind down and see that exhaustion into that POC in the bottom of the channel before getting that nice bigger move. But I would be expecting something like this at the very least. If we are going to see a bounce, it's going to be kind of a small bounce that occurs. Okay, what's my thoughts on the institutional buying and big ETF outflows and not big ETF outflows? Well, institutions are buying the dip. I have seen that. And last time we saw that in 2024. So let me zoom out here and let's go back to 2024's range, because what we saw in 2024's range down here is we did see major crashes happening that would last, weeks at a time. Anytime we started getting towards the bottom of those crashes, we would see the institutions buying in here, accumulation. They would start accumulating near the lows of the range, and that did eventually give us our big breakout to new all-time highs. But we are at a different point in the cycle, and there is still institutions buying, yes, of course, but I'm just concerned that they might be buying and kind of dollar cost averaging in and waiting for one more bounce, and then we might see them sell, and then we could start to see that bigger bear market play in. But yeah, we do want to pay attention to those ETF outflows and to when big institutions are buying, because they do have the power to move the market. But we also have to know that if they are buying now and we continue dropping, that could be more fuel to squeeze much, much quicker and more aggressive to the downside. No, Nanal, welcome in. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that kind comment. Jimmy Padwick, welcome in. We tapped the 0.5 from the 74K low to the all-time high. Yes. Okay. That 0.5, that equilibrium. Okay. Yep. Tap that 0.5 Fibonacci. So we did have some confluence of support in this general area between like 101 and 100K, and seeing a little bit of a reaction here. But once again, guys, I don't expect much from this bounce. We might see a bounce here. It might be the end of it might be the lows for today's candle, but I'm not expecting much here. Okay. The most I made on rugs was 0.3 SOL into 2.6 SOL in about 10 seconds. Wow, that's really awesome. Altogether, I pulled out 8 SOL from 1.5 deposit. Great game if you enjoy the 1 second chart trading. Okay, wow, BG, that's actually pretty good, man. If you can over double your portfolio in a day, that's really awesome. TNB Willow, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. Before I move on to some of the altcoins, really quickly here, I just wanted to shout out the partners of the channel. BYDFI is the main partner of the channel. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on trading fees, and you can actually earn up to 40% discounts on trading fees if you deposit some of the larger amounts of money into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade in the futures markets. And I have partnered with BYDFI to create a Telegram community where if you do sign up using my affiliate link, deposit just $100, you'll get a 50% deposit bonus. And once you do that, you can click the Telegram link in the description of this video. And if you type in /verify and then your user ID, which will be right up in this area here, you can get access to that Telegram community. It's free. Once you're in, you're in. The money on the exchange, the $100 you deposit, is your money to trade. You will get the discounts on the trading fees. You will get the 50% deposit bonus. For me, it's a win-win for everyone. So if you're interested, Telegram link is in the description. The BYDFI affiliate link's in the description. And then next partner of the channel is going to be NAMI Trading. NAMI is this momentum and money flow indicator that I do use for entry and exit confirmations. For instance, right now, as we're coming down to this support level, I am not seeing the confirmation that I want to enter a trade here. Yes, this is the support we marked out in yesterday's video. Are we seeing bullish confirmations to enter the trade? Do we see bull divs on the 1 hour time frame? No. Let's zoom in on the 15-minute time frame. Do we see bull divs on the 15-minute? Yeah, very slight bull divs on the 15-minute. Money flows coming up here. Do we see on the 4 hour time frame, which is what I want to be interested in? No bull divs on the 4 hour, and money flow is looking bearish. So this is how I use these indicators to get me in trades once I get to my key levels. Guys, always price action first, indicators second. The indicators are a way for me to confirm whether to enter a trade or not. So if you're interested in getting NAMI, I have partnered with NAMI to get you guys a 50% off discount code. Divine50 is that discount code. If you use my affiliate link and type in Divine50 into the discount code box, you can get that. And I do not know how much longer that's going to be running, so I suggest you do take advantage of that while you can. And then lastly, the last two partners of the channel are MEXC and Bybit, both great exchanges. They're offering discounts on trading fees and futures bonuses. If you'd like to sign up with either of those exchanges, it's just a great way to help out the channel. The links are in the description of the video for that. Okay, let's get back to the TA. Let's get back to the charts, and we'll look at some altcoins as well here. Okay, 98K bounce, please. Yeah, oi, I do think 98K, we do have a key low around that 98K area, but with our liquidity grab down around that 98.2 area, but I do think we might be able to see some wickage. Like if this dump really starts to continue, we could wick past that 98K low to actually hit that point of control and then reclaim that low. So if you're being more conservative here, guys, if we want to wait for the potential big crash to stop, then what we want to see is a takeout of those lows, a bounce from the point of control, and then the second you reclaim those lows, then you could look for the bigger long upon the reclaim. Now, you're going to have to adjust your position size based off this bigger stop loss, but this would be more of like a swing trade where after bouncing from the POC, we then would pull our golden pocket of this entire move down, and I'm going to put it at the POC, and we'd be looking for a move up to the golden pocket area, which you can also see happens to be right around the value area high of that macro range. So if we come down to the POC and bounce, then you might expect a lower high overall to come in around that golden pocket area before seeing now another lower low. So that would be a nice potential swing trade that we could look at coming up. And this could be the confirmation of the bear market if we come up to that general area. We'll have to see how that plays out. Of course, if you do SFP 98K, then you would also look at your golden pocket, which would be right around that value area high as well. So we'll have to look at that as more data develops and potential swing trades coming up for Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, that's a conservative approach to it. Bounce from the POC, and then once you reclaim that prior low, then you could look for a bigger move up. 100K break below and reclaim would be clutch. Yeah, we right now we're still kind of dumping here. Now, guys, I also want to talk about this because we could be seeing a bigger impulse, specifically from taking out our range highs. When we took out our range highs, what day was that? That was on Sunday, and that was a weekend high, which is a bit concerning to me. But on Sunday, October 26th, we took out our range highs, and now we might be starting to see a 5-wave impulse to the downside here. And if we're going to look at that, then let's pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and we'll look at our targets for that. Let me get this in the right spot. There we go. And we look at that 1.618. So that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction is right around your point of control. What we could be seeing here, if we are going to continue the impulse of price action to the downside, is this kind of drop to here in a wave 3, and then in a wave 4, you would expect to retrace up between the 0.382 and the 0.5, and then maybe our wave 5 is going to end at the value area low of the range, which is 92K. You can see that value area low at 92.5 in confluence with our golden pocket. So that might be our last push down here for that bigger. And then here's the thing, guys, within Elliott waves, it's fractals within fractals. So we could be looking at all of this as a wave 1. All of this is a wave 2. This is all a wave 3 of your bigger weekly impulse down. After seeing that, we would expect to bounce up to the wave 4 target somewhere up in this general area, and then a wave 5 coming down. And that would be really rough for us to see, but that is a possibility. We do have to keep that in mind as a possibility here. And all based off of this move up here being more of a 3-wave corrective move that we saw. Alts should start moving up, I hope. Well, you know, a lot of altcoins are at some key support levels here, but if Bitcoin keeps dumping, altcoins will just continue to get wrecked. Actually, let's go into the total market cap real quick, guys. So here's the thing with total market cap. We were expecting, you know, we were coming up and rejecting from the top of this band over and over and over here. And that last rejection from the top of the band, we got that huge crash that happened. And really, that for me, that was very telling because we had our first break in market structure. We broke our market structure bearishly by breaking those lows there on a high time frame break in market structure. Now, also from that, we had kind of lost. Let me just get rid of some of this here. We had lost our pitchfork midline, kind of chopping around the middle of it here. But I did say in the last week's live streams and in the video earlier this week that we could get that drop to take out the liquidity from the crash lows into our pitchfork band. And now that we're losing the midline of the pitchfork, just standard pitchfork trading, we could drop to this lower band here. And so that means this dump could continue. And this dump is, we still have quite a ways left here until we can get to the top of the pitchfork band. But if we dump to the bottom of the pitchfork band, it's not looking good here. If we might be able to see that dump continue. Actually, let me do this here. Yeah, that bottom of the pitchfork band is looking pretty juicy as well there. Okay, yeah. And so what I'm saying is total market cap. Now, total market cap has, as long as we can continue within this pitchfork, we might be able to even see a rotation all the way to the bottom of the pitchfork, but still hold and still continue our overall bull market trend of making macro higher highs and higher lows. If we start to lose the bottom of this pitchfork, I think bear market's in. I think that for me, that's kind of my confirmation of bear market starting. We really don't want to see that loss. And let's pull this here. Yeah, and you can see where's our value area low, guys. Our value area low is coming in at the bottom of the pitchfork band, coming up here. So it does look like everything could dump a little bit more here. It would take out our crash lows because we front ran the value area low in the taking of those crash lows. So it would be an SFP into the macro value area low and into our pitchfork band. To me, that is, if the total market cap is coming down to this support level and Bitcoin's also at a key support level, let's say 96.5 or 92.5K, I will definitely look for a potential swing long or day trade long based off finally hitting into major support on total in confluence with major support on Bitcoin as well. And then let's now real quickly go into our total 3 market cap. Guys, this is scary for the altcoins. Very similar to the pitchfork I was just showing you on Bitcoin. On total, excuse me. We see this very similar pitchfork. Now, guys, this pitchfork has been so well respected. When we were up here in late December or early December, late November, I was telling everyone I was going to sell based off of us coming up to the top of this pitchfork. I got so much crap. Go back and watch my channel from last November, late November. I got so much crap from everyone saying, you're so dumb. The bear market's, the altcoin season's about to start, blah, blah, blah. Well, we did get that retracement all the way back down to the bottom of the pitchfork. But now we're back at the bottom of the pitchfork again, guys. And if we lose this and start to close daily or weekly candles below this pitchfork, the only hope that we have of a nice altcoin season is that we see a little bit of a deviation and bounce from the value area low and then get back inside this pitchfork. But if we start to close daily and specifically weekly candles below this pitchfork, I mean, I think that we could continue coming down to the next major lows that we have here. And let's see those lows as well. Actually, I would be looking at these lows at 750 billion. And then if those don't get taken out, I would be targeting the liquidity at the bottom here. But this pitchfork has been highly useful in looking for when we could see larger reversals on some of the altcoins. And yeah, we are at support right now. So guys, daily candle, it's trying to lose this pitchfork, but we're still kind of hanging on right around the bottom of this pitchfork here. And what we really want to see is we want to see us close the daily candle at or above this pitchfork level. So if we can wick here, but close the daily candle up here and even just range for a couple days in this general area. We want to see that move up eventually from this area. And if we start to close daily candles below, I mean, gosh, the altcoins could really start to bleed here. A lot of them are already at kind of rock bottom prices. What I will say here is this does not look good. Money flow looks like garbage. No real bull divs on the chart. We are starting to see potential 4-hour bull divs on NAMI. But yeah, not looking too good. And then let's go to our total 2 market cap chart. This is with Ethereum. Okay, so a couple things to look at here. When we were in the bear market, you can see that we had this nice sideways accumulation here. This is an accumulation zone. All the big whales were accumulating altcoins during the bear market. And then once you break out of that accumulation zone, you back test it, and then we get expansion, expansion, expansion continuing. And overall, we are making macro higher highs and higher lows still. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high here. But we could continue within this now kind of exhaustive channel that you see towards the end of markets, this exhaustive channel here. And if we start to close below this midline, we could see a move really all the way to the bottom of the channel if we are going to see that bigger correction come in. Let's actually look at where that golden pocket 786 would be, and we're going to put that on log scale because that is a big move. Yeah, that 786 could be coming in right around the bottom of the channel there. And I would not be surprised that if we start to close weekly candles below this channel midline, we do get some moves. Of course, it's not going to go straight like this. We're going to see some bounces along the way. Liquidity grab here, maybe something like that, and some moves down into that area. But I do think we could see altcoins continue to really bleed here. The big scary thing for altcoins, guys, is look at this in this range right here. So I'm going to hide this channel or this volume profile. But as we were kind of grinding up here, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, 4 higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves with money flow draining out as that range was forming. That to me is a distribution range. More than 80% of the time, 75, 80% of the time, when I see a range forming like this with multiple drives of bear div coming in and money flow draining out as the range is forming, that tends to be a distribution range for me. And I talked about this in my live streams over the last 2 weeks on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, and on the total market cap. So there's a very big possibility that this range is about to break down, seeing a breakdown of our midline, and we could see a big distribution down here. I really don't want to see that, guys. I'm in spot as well, but that's something that we need to contend with. Okay, alt should start moving up. Yeah, say it ain't true. I know, oi, oi. I wish, man. Ludong, welcome in. Yes, we will do Sui, AVAX, Link. I'm going to cover Solana. We're going to cover Ethereum. We'll cover some of the other coins. ICP, we can look at ICP. I know it got a pump today. And then let's see here. Got Z-Sync instead of which is Chop Hell. Okay. Almost bought ICP yesterday. Okay. Why is ICP pumping out of random? Well, as far as the charts go, it was hitting critical support. We set a swing failure pattern of the bear market lows, and then now it's just simply coming up in Dew's range. But we'll look at ICP. We can look at Aster. Absolutely, guys. We'll look at Aster. Blair, thank you so much for that kind comment. Really been appreciating your live streams and your insight. Thank you, Blair. Thank you so much. My spot bag that I'm accumulating here in this fourth quarter is minimum 2 years hold at this point. Yeah, I mean, BG, if you've been accumulating towards the top of a bull market, now for altcoins, it really hasn't been the top of the altcoin. But if you're accumulating, you should really be accumulating really before the big breakouts happen. But I understand your situation. And yeah, now you got to kind of play the long-term game here, which is okay. Honestly, I do expect the crypto market to recover. Now, not all the altcoins, only the good projects probably will recover and make new all-time highs. But yeah, we can expect, maybe to hold through a bear market. Yeah, Bitcoin's dumping a little bit, ZMX. I didn't expect much from this bounce, man. I told you we don't have really any bull divs on the chart. We have no confirmation to long right now, guys. No confirmation really to long. And I am assuming that we're going to continue dropping here, at least locally. Maybe take out the daily lows. I mean, we are coming down into that pitchfork of support, that pitchfork band of support. So let me come out onto the 4-hour chart. Coming down to that pitchfork band after rejecting from our pitchfork midline here. We are coming down here. And if this is just going to be a 3-wave corrective move and a bigger flat correction, then we might be able to see this hold. But I really like the bottom of the pitchfork band a little bit better because that is where our macro POC is of the range. The macro POC. Let's pull that. Now, wow. Okay, so I guess the macro POC on Bybit, yeah, I would say for most exchanges, it's right at 96.5 to 96.6. So I would not be surprised if we continue down here to bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork band and then start to see. And by the way, when we bounce from the bottom of that band, we could see that chop that often forms within these bands before either breaking up or before breaking down and coming down to our value area low in confluence with that golden pocket. Machi HK, welcome in, man. If we reference the last time when weekly market cipher beat momentum wave move into the negative territories, if you take the actual number price drop, you will get around 96K. If you take it by percent, it's 91 to 92K. Very interesting, Machi HK. Thank you for that reference there, man. So both of those, 96K, very, very important support level being your macro POC, and 92K, 91 to 92K, very, very important support level, value area low, macro golden pocket. Thoughts on AVAX? It's on the floor already on the daily chart, and last crash, Wick took out all liquidity below the floor. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. We'll look at AVAX definitely as well. Let's actually go ahead and get into some of the altcoins here. So guys, really quickly, I'm going to cover Ethereum. Ethereum is coming down and it's about to invalidate our impulse to the upside. If we hit the golden pocket at 3,200, it will invalidate our 5-wave impulse to the upside. We do not want to see this. If we want this 5-wave impulse to continue here, we kind of needed to bounce. And all week long last week when we were pushing up here, I said, guys, watch out for a double bottom here into our weekly and into our naked daily point of control. But we did not get that liquidity grab into our naked daily and our weekly level. And now we're breaking down and we're breaking back into our pitchfork band. So let me go ahead and hide this box. I didn't mean to delete it. I just wanted to hide it. And you can see here, after bouncing from the top of the pitchfork band during our crash. Now, this is the Coinbase chart. We bounced from the top of the band, formed a bit of a range, and now we're breaking back inside the band and losing the band, actually losing that upper band after rejecting from the top of the pitchfork. So there's a possibility that we might continue. Now, I do think this is going to give us a nice bounce here, because if we go on to our other charts where I do have our different pitchfork here, you can see this pitchfork midline is coming in around the value area high of our range, and it's our golden pocket, and it's our anchored VWAPs from the lows. So that level is a very, very nice support level. It's our anchored VWAP from the prior all-time highs, or range highs, excuse me, in confluence. So a lot of support coming in at the box that we're seeing right below us. But we don't want to hit that box, guys. If we want to be real technical about our impulse playing out to the upside, we cannot hit this golden pocket. I do think we will see a bounce from this, but if we do come down there and hit this golden pocket, it will invalidate the 5-wave move to the upside, and now we would have to look at it as a larger 3-wave corrective move, an expanded flat correction, where then if we come down here and bounce, we're going to make a lower high before probably making another lower low. And that's so I would still long here and potentially even bring it up to this $4,300, $4,400 area. But it would not be a good, I wouldn't be expecting new all-time highs anymore. But that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum. So Ethereum is losing its key support of $3,500. which was kind of the SFP of the Coinbase lows. And we also had a naked, a weekly level and a naked daily point of control that was right in this area of support that we wanted to see us hold. It is not happening. We're busting through, and we're busting through with volume to the downside. So to me, it's highly likely that we do come down and bounce from this $3,200 area, where I do expect a nice bounce, but it's going to invalidate the impulse. It's really going to be bad news for Ethereum. Now let's go into AVAX real quick. We'll go into AVAX here. AVAX, I did talk about the drop within this channel. So let me first, after now, Mick channel on AVAX, I'm not looking at the Bybit chart where we wicked all the way to 850. I'm looking at the Coinbase charts, and on the Coinbase chart, you can see on the crash we only fell to about $17, where the bottom of the pitchfork band was. We're still inside this descending channel. I'll go into that in just a second, but what I want to talk about on the macro on AVAX is we had this very nice accumulation range in here, and we broke out of the range. We broke out of that accumulation range. We came up to our macro golden pocket in confluence with our upper pitchfork band in a bearish pitchfork. You can see this is a bearish pitchfork measuring a bearish trend where we could fall all the way back down to $12 again, $12.50, $12.60. But because we rejected that upper band in that macro lower high golden pocket, we were expecting at least to move back down to back test this general area. This is a very important support resistance flip, this red box here. Once we lost that area, now we were expecting, okay, we're back inside of our range. And let me go just turn on that range on here. Not this guy, but it was, if we look at this range, oops, wrong one. Okay, let me just do that, and then we'll pull this here. You can see this was our kind of accumulation range that we had in here. Rejection, value area high, rejection, 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 rejection. Finally break above it. And once you break above the value area high, you reject from your resistance. You want to come down and bounce and then see continued expansion. But we didn't. We rejected the value, or rejected our golden pocket. We saw a small bounce, but then we lost it and we fell back inside of our range. And even on the Coinbase chart, we fell past the value area low of the range, pretty much filling in the range. And now we could be seeing this accumulation range continue here in some ways. This was a fake out, and now we could be coming back down to the bottom of the range, which we're pretty much at. We're SFPing some liquidity. We're having a liquidity grab right now. What I wanted to see hold, and I talked about this a lot in my live streams last week, is I really wanted to see a bounce from this weekly level at the bottom of the pitchfork band. But we're even losing our pitchfork band now. So here's the crazy thing. I mean, we have potential bull divs on the daily time frame here, but money flow looks like garbage. So remember, bearish money flow will always overpower one drive of bull divs here. We are seeing a small SFP. What I would be looking, if we confirm the SFP here, we might only see a rise to backtest that weekly before coming back down, or we might see a little bit higher of a rise to backtest the top of the pitchfork band before coming back down here. We have been trading in, since the crash ended here on AVAX, we've been trading in a descending channel. Let me go in onto the 2-hour time frame. We had this very nice descending channel here since the crash ended that we had been trading in. Yesterday, we came down to the bottom of that descending channel. Even earlier today, bounced from the bottom of the descending channel, and we're starting to lose that. That is a bad sign for me, because towards the end of a crash, you oftentimes will see this selling exhaustion occur in these descending channels, where you bounce from a support level and then you break out of it and you see a bigger move, at least to take out the highs of the channel. But right now we're even starting to lose the channel support. Now we are attempting to see a liquidity grab on one of those internal lows. But if we zoom back out onto the daily time frame here, it's really looking quite bad here for AVAX, where if we do not SFP on the daily this level, we want to see a daily SFP of this level. I think that if we don't SFP that level, I do think we're going to come for these lows at 14, and I do think we could even potentially move all the way back down to the bottom of the pitchfork, which could be between $13 and around $13 here, bottom of the pitchfork. And hopefully that gives you a good bounce. But right now, it doesn't look good. Money flow bearish here. Some potential bull divs on NAMI as well. Actually, this looks really nice to me. These bull divs that are potentially forming in here, and money flow on NAMI is pushing up here. So I want to see us SFP this today. And if we close the daily candle below 15.62, it is going to be bad news for AVAX. Now, even if we do SFP this on the daily, we have to watch out for just a little dead cat bounce before continuing lower here. Okay, so that's AVAX. 1 hour time frame. Yeah, it's not looking too good here, guys. No bull divs on the 1 hour. Money flow looks like garbage. Money flow looks like garbage. Let's go to the 4 hour real quick. Money flow looks like garbage. You have slight bull divs here, but that money flow is going to overpower that. So I am not, yes, we could be seeing an SFP here, but I'm not, based off what we're seeing, I'm not looking for much of anything here. Okay, that's AVAX. Let's run through some of these altcoins really quickly. Solana, I expect, long story short, I expect Solana to come down to about 145. Now, Solana is losing. Here's the big thing on Solana, guys. Let me just, first of all, we're losing our bullish pitchfork structure, this bullish pitchfork structure in here. So I'm going to hide that pitchfork now so I can clean up this chart. And if we look at our bearish pitchfork, our macro bearish pitchfork, all-time highs down to the $96 lows up to that 252 high, you can see that we chopped around and we were trying to hold the upper band for a bit. But once we lost it and then started ranging inside of it, yet a couple days ago, we back tested the bottom of the band, and now we're dumping through our key anchored VWAPs, our key support. And really, I expect us to come down to our midline, our pitchfork midline, which is in confluence with our large range point of control. Now, this large range point of control goes back to March of 2024, so almost 2 years long, about 18 months, 19 months or so, 20 months or so. The big thing here is look at what happened on the breakout of the value area high. So rejected value area high, saw a dump down. Rejected value area high, saw a dump down, but we made higher lows, kind of chopped around the value area high, and finally we're able to flip it to support right here and push up to our major resistance above. And this was a major resistance between 252 and 258. Go watch the videos around that time, back in the first week of September. I was talking about that level. And then this was the big thing. After rejecting from that level, we came back to back test that macro value area high in the pitchfork band. You wanted to see a bounce here and new highs being made, but we got a lower high, and then we broke back down underneath our macro value area high here. Now that we had found acceptance back within our volume profile by forming a range underneath it, which is exactly what I described with Bitcoin yesterday, guys. If you go watch yesterday's video, I said the fact that Bitcoin's forming a range inside of our value area high is not a bullish sign. Solana, same thing, forming a range inside the macro volume profile, showing us that we might be finding reacceptance back within that volume profile. And if you find reacceptance and you reject on the bearish backtest, which if you look at here on Solana, backtest the macro value area high, reject, guess what? Come to POC. So I expect us to kind of come to that POC between like 145 and like 143-ish. I expect us to continue to drop down to that area. I will be looking for at least some sort of bounce from this area, even if it is to come back test your anchored VWAPs before continuing down to value area low, which is where a macro golden pocket is. I mean, this is going to be really important support around 125 as well. But it does look pretty bearish here for Solana, and we could even be looking at a potential 1-2-1-2 big third wave here, and then we could get some 4-5s, 4-5s. We could continue this double 1-2 impulse all the way down to 125. Money flow looks bearish. No bull divs on the chart. No slight bull divs on NAMI here on the daily time frame. Let me check our 4 hour time frame. Yeah, money flow very bearish. No bull divs on the chart. Very slight bull divs forming on NAMI, but that money flow looks pretty bearish. I expect this dump to continue down to that 145-ish level. on Solana. 145 to 143 is definitely going to be a major support for me. If we do come down to this area, I will be looking for longs. One hour, money flow looks bearish. We are now nicely starting to build some bull divs here. So what we want to see is, and I talk about this a lot, guys, towards the end of a big crash, you start to see these descending channels form here, right? Let me just do this. We start to see these descending channels form, and in these descending channels, towards the end, you will get this exhaustive chop that happens until you hit support, and then that could give you your big reversal. So I think we might see something very similar to that. Let's see. Do we have any? Yeah, we have that naked weekly point of control that's also down in that general area. You can see we're losing a naked weekly and back testing that naked weekly as resistance. Of course, we're at a naked daily right now. Okay, yeah, we're just crashing through everything today. But you can see how these levels are respected. Bounce from the daily, get a lower high, come down to the next daily, bounce, reject from your prior daily. Now are we going to do something and continue to kind of grind off of these levels, seeing small bounces off these levels, but an overall not a reversal until you get to your macro support level. Okay, we're coming down to a weekly. We haven't touched it quite yet at 151.9. Okay, Job Fuel, we will do Superman. Yeah, definitely. Dr. X, welcome in. Guys, please hit the like button. If you get anything from this live stream, any sort of insight into the market, please hit the like stream for me. I'm trying to grow the channel and trying to build the community, so I appreciate all of you guys doing that. It's just a way to help the channel. Massey33, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Jesus Save 77, what is up, man? Welcome in. XRP, yeah, we'll go through XRP as well. Ada, we can go through all these altcoins, guys. ETH about to hit 3,200. Actually, let's do this. I want to set an alert on ETH real quick because I am trying to catch this. Wow, guys. I think we could dump a little bit lower than 3,200. I think this pitchfork midline around 3,150, 3,145 is going to be where we're going to bounce. I think we're going to wick into the golden pocket and then, potentially see that. Link, yeah, we'll go through Chainlink as well, guys. Let's go through Chainlink right now because that was in the super chat. Chainlink is coming down to our macro support level. Now, all last week during the live streams, I was saying it was highly likely that Chainlink was going to come down to the bottom of the pitchfork in confluence with our macro POC. So let me zoom out to the daily time frame. If we look at our volume profile of this entire upper price action in here, this entire range up in here over the past couple of years, going back to 2 years, November of 2023. Let's turn that range on. And here's the thing with that, guys. We lost, you can see on the breakout. So let me clean this chart up really quickly here. On the breakout of our, there we go, of our volume profile, we broke out of that volume profile with some nice bullish price action, some nice volume to the upside. But we were coming up and making bear divs on the chart pretty badly. Money flow was looking good. We wanted to see that 3-wave corrective move, and we wanted to bounce from the bullish backtest of our macro value area high and then continue the impulsive price action up. When we didn't make a higher high here, when we didn't break these highs and make a higher high here, but we continued to make lower highs and fall underneath, that was a huge sign to me that, okay, we are going to find reacceptance back inside of our volume profile. we form this triangle range inside of our pitchfork band that often occurs. Ranges occur in these pitchfork bands. And now we're breaking it down and we're coming down to some very key support because it's the point of control of your 2-year long range in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork. Bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork, bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork. So I do think we could bounce from around 14.3 to 13.9-ish, 13.85 is the level I'm looking to look for along from. Right now, it doesn't look good. Daily money flow looks like garbage. Let's zoom in onto our 4-hour chart. So we're coming into our macro support level, but as far as confirmations go to look for a trade right now, we're not seeing them. No bull divs. Money flow looks like garbage. What I want to see is I want to see something like this and a range start to form at the bottom of the pitchfork. And then I'll look for a long if we start to develop bull divs within the range. If we lose $14, like 13.8, 13.85, we're probably going to fall back down. I want to highlight something to you guys. I showed you guys this a couple weeks ago in the live stream, but on this drop that we saw from December all the way through April, this drop here, the 4 or 5 month long drop, we came down and that low that we made at $10.10, we front ran a very, very key golden pocket, and we front ran some very key internal liquidity right before a mega push up. So even though it's an internal high, this liquidity is very important because you can see this nice big imbalance candle that was created right after, meaning a lot of longs stepped in that area and pushed the price up. So a lot of stops in swing trades are going to put their stops below that low. So that liquidity, even though it's internal liquidity of all this, it is very important liquidity. Well, when we came down in April, we had front run our macro golden pocket at pretty much $10 here, $9.92 to $9.35. And that golden pocket is pulled from the bear market lows up to our cycle highs of this cycle. And if you look at that, like if we just pull that, now here's the thing. Look, guys, if I pull that golden pocket coming in there, now you do, because that is more than 100% move to the upside. See, if I took it off log scale, your golden pocket's all the way at $14. But because this was more than a 100% move to the upside, this was a 528% move to the upside, and we are on the log chart, you have to come in here and you have to click on your Fibonacci. You have to come down into your settings and hit this box, fibs based off log scale. So if we turn on that log scale golden pocket, now you can see it's coming in at the proper 61.8% retracement. If we lose this pitchfork, if we lose $13.8 to $14, there is absolutely a possibility we could flush down to come hit this $9.92 golden pocket, taking now the liquidity of both of our lows being the low. Let me just get the low here and the low here into a macro golden pocket. And then I would be really looking for massive spot buys in this general area. So at critical support here on Chainlink, but Chainlink is not really seeing the confirmation to look for a swing long that we want to see here. If we were coming down to this box that I've had, by the way, I've had this box laid out on our chart since the middle of July. Since the middle of July, we've been looking at this support level. As we're coming down into this box, what we really did want to see was bull divs on the chart. Bull divs coming down as we were making that. And we are pretty much invalidating those right now. Now on NAMI, we still do have some bull divs potentially on the daily time frame. Dang, this market is just dumping. Let me check Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin really? Yeah, I think that Bitcoin is going to continue to drop here, guys. No real bounce from our support level, unfortunately. And now I do think the grind is starting to slow down. And let's look at our volume here. Okay, still pretty big volume on the drop so far. So what I would be expecting here is now kind of some starting to bleed, like starting to see that grindy channel price action. Okay, so that's it for Chainlink. Next up, let's see, what do we have? We did AVAX, we covered Solana, we covered Ethereum. What did Lu Dong want? That was Sui. We can cover Sui real quick. Sui is at a very crucial support level. Wait, was this Sui? Yeah. Okay, let me grab that pitchfork back on the chart. Yeah. So Sui, we are coming down to our pitchfork midline. If we close today's daily candle below this pitchfork midline, it's gonna get bad quickly. Now, I did pull a different pitchfork because you can see this original bearish pitchfork was pulled from the 4-month long, 5-month long dip up in at the end of that impulse. And then what we wanted to see in here was a flat correction and then continuation up, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing a breakdown of the range. If we look at our range that is formed, our macro range here, did I get rid of it? Okay, let's just grab that. Sorry, guys. Let me just refresh this. We're losing the value area low of that range. And even if, we could even just pull this to the top of the impulse there. We're losing the value area low of the range. And gosh, we're just dumping hard here. Okay, what was that? That was Ethereum. Ethereum has now officially invalidated our impulse to the upside. Damn. Guys, this is bad news. This is bad news. So I am expecting some sort of bounce in here. I want to see us come down a little bit lower. You can see that around 3,100, 3,150-ish. 3,150 to 3,100 is where I'm looking for a long on Ethereum. Okay, dang, massive dumpage. No real sign of strength here yet. Not even 5-minute bull dips. Money flow looks like garbage here. Coming down, hitting the pitchfork right now. Okay, yeah, we'll look at Aster. We'll look at CoreWeave, guys. Shorts are printing. Yeah, Machi HK, you really did call this a couple weeks ago, and I have to say, good job, man. Really good job here. And the shorts are printing. We expected this dumpage based off the bear divs, and we expected this dumpage really on Bitcoin. If you guys look at my videos for the past couple of weeks, I've been talking about the bigger drop based off of us forming that range again underneath our macro value area high. We were forming a range, and really the key thing that I was looking for was the loss of this 74K anchored VWAP. If we lost this 74K anchored VWAP, guess what? We were going to dump down, and we are dumping down. We're probably going to continue this dump down. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's check some of our levels here. Do we have naked monthlies? No. All right, we can get rid of this guy. We're coming up to a naked daily point of control on Bitcoin. We just hit a naked daily point of control on Bitcoin. Seeing a little bounce from that naked daily point of control on Bitcoin. And are we losing? Yeah. All right. So, guys, I am interested in looking for longs around, like on Ethereum right now where it's at, and then also on Chainlink where it's at right now. I want to see the total market cap come down a little bit lower. At the beginning of this live stream, we talked about that. I want to see this. SFP. I don't know why TradingView does that, but if we zoom out onto the daily, I want to see the SFP of this daily low here into our value area high, value area low, excuse me. So I think the market's going to continue to drop a little bit more. Solana coming down to 145, not quite there yet. SUI, guys, SUI is losing our pitchfork. I think at this point, we could come down and take the liquidity at 171, 171.5. If we look at our other pitchfork on SUI, let me go ahead and turn off this one. Yeah, we're coming down to our band. Now, this pitchfork is the same bearish pitchfork, not the same bearish pitchfork, but it's a bearish pitchfork pulled from the high to the low. But instead of bringing it to this high, we're bringing it to the overall high here of that flat correction. So based off this pitchfork, which this is the high, you can see we're coming down right now and hitting the lower band. But the bottom of the lower band, the SFP of this low into the bottom of the lower band would be really nice. We might see something like this, though, a range start to form in here for a bit before a couple days from now coming down and hitting into that 170, like 171 to like 170. And for me, that would be a for sure long opportunity if we come down there. Actually, I'm just going to do this right now. We're going to set an alert here. SFP long there. Okay, good question, Paper Beats Rock. When a short squeeze? Well, here's the thing, guys. Let's go on to our order flow charts here, and I want to show you what's happening right now. This drop that we're seeing today is a very healthy and strong drop to the downside. You can see we've been dropping here. Our CVD has been dropping, especially towards the second half of today, and like coming up to current. And our open interest is increasing here on the aggregated exchanges. Aggregated CVD is aggregated open interest is increasing. So with open interest increasing, all open interest is the amount of positions opening or closing in the market. So since November 3rd, yesterday, we're seeing a lot of new positions open up. Those new positions are short positions because our CVD is market shorters or market longers. If CVD is going down, we know that people are shorting the market. So a lot of new shorts are coming in right now, causing the price to drop here. The thing is with this is a lot of these shorts, specifically in this general area, are coming in towards the bottom of a crash. And that is when a short squeeze can start once this drop ends. But we might see more liquidation cascades. I don't think we're going to see the short squeeze until we actually hit support. So here's the cool thing. Like we're having a very volatile move down today. But if we come down a little bit lower, and we see people continuing to short this crash to the downside, and we bounce from support, and if we start to see a little bit of a rise, that is when we could squeeze up very quickly and start to squeeze out some of those late shorters. So you should not be shorting now, even if you think that the prices are going lower. It's about risk management. Dang, this breakdown, guys, on Bitcoin from this channel is quite aggressive. Breaking down from the channel quite aggressively. Man, oh man. Yeah, NAMI seems to be more accurate than MCB with divs. It's quicker. One with nature, NAMI is quicker to confirm those divs. I love NAMI. I love using them both in conjunction, but I do think NAMI is a really, really good tool. Like, really good tool. It's also much quicker with money flow. So if money flow starts to come into the asset, NAMI is actually based off real money flow. Market Cipher B is an algorithm of money flow. Combined with like EMAs or something like that. So NAMI is definitely better in that respect, I think. Do I think the 49K anchored VWAP is going to hold? Yeah, I do. That's at 92K or 93K. Let me see. Where's that anchored VWAP? I know I have it here. $49K anchored VWAP on Coinbase. It's coming in a little bit below our our golden pocket value area low. What I think could happen is likely to happen is we're going to get some sort of reaction at this the point of control. So we could get a small bounce from this point of control, even if it's just to back test the value area low of our range that we broke down from and our anchored VWAP. And then we could get that drop Now, after that, down to the value area low of the range. By then, this thing could keep coming up like this. And hopefully by then, we have that confluence with our 49K anchored VWAP into our golden pocket and into our macro value area low here. And 92.5 is looking like a super juicy level. It could be a super juicy level. But it's highly unlikely we do this. You know, we're going to see some sort of relief along the way, guys. Yes, we can in crypto get very volatile, just like we saw a few Fridays ago. But I mean, for me, I think that we're going to see some bounces at some big support levels. Yeshwanth, welcome in. Thank you so much. Love back to you as well. 100K for like 170 plus days. Yeah, we might be, you know what? If we're going to be there down there that long, we could be going a lot lower than 100K. ETH could go down to 2,800. Yeah, ETH could. 2,700. We could go down to 2,700 on ETH. Okay, we did Sui, we did AVAX. What else? We'll go through Aster real quick. I believe I was using the spot buyback chart here. Yes. Okay. Let me get rid of some of this here. I mean, really, Aster came down to our support level. We got a nice, pretty big bounce here at the support level, but we're losing those lows now. We're not really holding this support. You wanted to kind of see an SFP of those double lows. It was this crash low and then the low right above it. Man, I think that this thing might continue dropping as well. And let's do this. Yeah, we're chopping around the midline. If we can't reclaim this midline, we could fall all the way to like 70 to 69 cents in here on Aster. It's a little bit hard on Aster because this is a pretty much brand new project. But what I would be saying here on Aster is look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like a contracting diagonal and your leading diagonal. You get your 3-wave flat, correct, running flat. This could be your wave 3. This could be a wave 4, and we could be kind of ending in a wave 5. That's a really horrible looking impulse to the downside, but this could be kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming all the way down. Now, technically, we have already taken out our third wave lows, so it could reverse from here, but let's pull our range. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, we're below the value area low of your range, and you can see we're back testing it. If we can't reclaim like this 96 cent area, 96.5, by the end of the day, then we're probably going to continue dropping within this trend here. But we're at all-time lows, at least as far as this chart goes. We're at a couple days ago. Yesterday, we made all-time lows. Monday, excuse me. We made all-time lows. Yeah, this is a tough one because we broke market structure bullishly by taking out those highs. We broke market structure bullishly. So you would be expecting a higher low before kind of continuing the impulsive price action up. But with the dump that we saw today, we've now broken the lows again as well. It is kind of just in this range mode. If the market continues to dump, I think it will. Now, what I do see here on the 8-hour, this looks a lot nicer than some of the other coins. We have potential bull divs and money flow coming to the upside here on the daily time, on the 8-hour time frame. Bull divs here, money flow crossing into the green. Until we get back above 96 cents, 96.5, I expect more downside. But it does look, I do have to say, this does look nice. We do have lower lows here, higher lows here, coming in. Actually, not here. Excuse me, not on NAMI, but locally on NAMI. It does look like we do have those bull divs as well. Money flow coming to the upside. Let's see if we can't. Yeah, we'll try pulling a pitchfork here of our bearish pivot, and we are going to be looking. Man, it doesn't even look good. Okay, it's yeah, is it only Tuesday? Welcome in Time Attack. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, it is only Tuesday. Guys, we generally see a reversal or our big day happen on Wednesday. So if we're dumping really hard today, we might start a relief rally tomorrow. Oh, CZ bought some Aster. That was the Sunday pump. Okay. To me, that's almost a bad thing. He buys some, everyone else buys, and then guess what? You're going to continue your downtrend. Let's check this out, actually. If we look at this kind of descending channel that was forming here. Yeah, break out. You're back inside your channel now, and we might be able to continue once again around 70 cents. I think 70 cents is a pretty big area to be looking. 69 to 70 cents. Okay, Aster, what was some of the other ones we were going to look at? We did Link. We did ADA, ETH. ADA. Man. I haven't covered ADA in quite a while, so a lot of these levels are probably bad. We're losing a weekly and a naked weekly point of control, dumping below it, and you can see this is our macro volume profile here. We're dumping back. We're losing the value area low. You can see the last couple of weeks we were trying to hold the value area low of the range of our macro range up here. This macro going back to really November of last year, so a year-long range, upper range. But now we are falling back. We're at the value area low of our accumulation range. So this was accumulation in here. And we're either going to hold this value area low. We grab the liquidity from the range lows finally. You can see this liquidity that was not taken, or double bottom here. It was a double bottom, but we finally grabbed that liquidity. So what you want to see today on today's daily candle is you want to see a daily SFP here. And then it's not likely we continue to push right back up. What's going to be likely now is we're going to start to kind of range in this general area between the naked weekly, the weekly level and this low, but we want to maintain above this prior low. If we start to close daily candles underneath this prior low, we could be finding reacceptance back within our prior range value area, and then we could continue dumping down here. So let's actually look at some levels of support below us. Yeah, that monthly, that weekly is going to be right around that POC. And I would like to pull a volume profile here. We're at your golden pocket. So that golden pocket was not hit from the last major weekly low on August of 2024 to the highs that we made of that range. You can see that we're finally hitting into that golden pocket at 50 cents. And that we're at important support right now on ADA. It's the back test of your prior range value area high. We grabbed the liquidity from this entire year-long range. And we are hitting into our macro golden pocket pulled from the low to the high. So this has to hold. If 50 to 48 cents doesn't hold, then I do think we're going to come down generally to that 35 to 34 cent area, 36 to 34 cent area. Let's do one more Fibonacci golden pocket. Bear market lows up to the cycle highs of this cycle. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, I think that we'll put that on log scale because that's more than 100% move. This general support in here is going to be your like kind of macro last support level. 36 to 34 cents. 33, excuse me. But right now we are at support. Once again, on the daily candle, you want to close the daily candle above those prior lows. You want to close the daily candle above 51 cents, 51.07. But we're finally taking out the liquidity of a double bottom. Now remember, a double bottom can be nice, but generally the people that longed here, they're not putting their stops right at the low. They're giving themselves a little bit of breathing room and putting it a little bit below the low. So if you come down here in a double bottom, some of those traders are still intact, and then you get the nice move up here, a nice three-wave move up. Actually, this could be considered a five-wave move up there. But what I would be saying is we're finally grabbing the liquidity of both of those lows and actually stopping out the traders and actually hitting the golden pocket that was front ran. You can see that golden pocket was not hit, at least on Coinbase. It was not hit before. We did not touch it. So now we're actually touching that golden pocket support. I mean, honestly, if you're long-term bullish on ADA, right now is not the worst time to buy. I would say this. You have to be comfortable holding because money flow looks bearish. No bull divs on the daily time frame. Locally, we've invalidated our local bull divs between the crash lows and the low we made today. There is some nice on NAMI. You can see this as we're developing this whole push down here. We are developing some nice multiple drives of bull div on the daily, but your money flow is still kind of bearish here. So, yeah. This is your support level, though. This is kind of the 50 cent level is the level to go. Okay, I think the 49K anchor view. Yeah, I do think that 49K anchor view op is going to hold at least for now. If the bear market's starting, we'll get a bounce from it, and then we'll probably break it on the second try. John, I'm not scared. I'm just being objective about the charts. I do own spot bags, so it sucks seeing this, but I'm also in this game long term, especially in my spot bags. And so what I'm looking at, actually, this is a nice opportunity, but I really do think we could be starting a bear market here. And I hate to say this, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you're gonna call a bear market so soon." I'm gonna wait for a break in market structure. Well, first of all, our break in market structure is only at 98.2K. That would be a weekly bearish break in market structure. If we come down and we break that 98.2K low, it'd be a weekly bearish market structure break. And we have not had one weekly break in market structure the entire bull market. No weekly break, no weekly break, no weekly break. In here we did actually in this range in here. But for the most part, our market structure has been bullish this entire time. And even like this, in this 2024 range, the first time we broke market structure bearishly on the weekly, we took out these lows right here. You can see we got continued price action to the downside for a few months. So even if we come down and break 98.2, we're probably going to get a bounce from this general area, but we might, even if it's going to be a similar range, come down to that anchored VWAP before and the golden pocket, 92, 90K or so. It's another 10K drop to the downside. 365 moving average and the 377 on the weekly is the bear market bottom. 365, 377, that's an interesting number. I wonder if that's a Fibonacci number. Moving average on the weekly. Wow, okay. One with Nature, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, full moon tomorrow. Okay, that is interesting. You know, sometimes those full moons do pump us. And it's the 5th. That's right, BG. You talked about this on the last stream. Yeah, let's see how this plays out. This could be a dumpage. I think a relief rally is due soon. Now, based off the technicals, we're not seeing it yet, and we're not at support yet. So, because we're losing the anchored VWAP here and our channel, I think it's likely that we at least come take out our lows at 98.2. But I think we might keep dropping to 96.5, and then maybe tomorrow at the full moon, we're around this support level and we get at least a nice relief rally back up to 106, 107 over the next few days. I'm not saying it's going to be V-shape in a few hours. Okay. The target for my bottom on time frame is tomorrow through the 15th. Okay. Death cross. Yeah, death cross coming soon. Usually the death cross does mark the end of a bottom, but it usually can go a couple weeks after that death cross too. So, oh, XRP. Let's go to XRP here. Baltic Motorsport, absolutely on ADA. Sorry, I kind of that one got lost in the shovel, and so did XRP. But we're gonna go into XRP right now. XRP is at the bottom of our channel now, guys. On this channel, this bigger channel. We've been pulling this channel really from the first major highs here, like these two, this high to this lower high here down to the bottom of your range. And we've been chopping now, forming a range in the lower half of the channel, really. We saw a little bit of a breakout above it, but we're down at the bottom of the channel. We've grabbed the liquidity here. The thing with XRP, when it dumps, like look at these wicks. This is the Coinbase wick. If we go onto the Bybit chart, I mean, look how low that wick went down there. It's just crazy. So now let's look at this. We're losing all naked daily points of control that I had marked out, of course. Man, this could get really bad, guys, on XRP. We absolutely could come to the bottom of this range. Let's pull our macro volume profile here. Yeah, value area low is coming up. Actually, I would say until we lose this value area low coming in right around 204, we're still probably just going to chop in this range here. And oftentimes in these descending channels, let me just do this here. Let's check that out. Oftentimes in these descending channels, you will chop towards the end for a bit here. And if we continue to chop for a week or so till we get to that value area low, and we're seeing this kind of corrective slowing down as we're coming down there, that's what I would want to see for a nicer push up. But as far as everything else goes, we're losing all local support levels. We're losing the value area low of the range where our support box was for today. We've taken out the liquidity of the lows of the range. So if we don't bounce from this 204 area, I mean, really, I think we're going to fill in a majority of this wick here. Let's pull our golden pocket. Okay, yeah, 205, 204 area is coming up. That's the area I would be looking for a general support. And I'd really be looking kind of the bottom half of the golden pocket in this general area. Yeah, there's really nothing. Jeez. One with nature, it really is awesome. Nami really is awesome. If you do, please use the discount code. I don't even care if you use my affiliate link if you find someone else, but use a discount code and give it a try. Or you can just do like a month trial subscription, pay for 1 month and see if it works for you. And if it works well for you, then buy the lifetime. Because I think the 50% off discount code is for lifetime access. So I think it comes out to around like $600 for lifetime. Now I know that might be a bit much for an indicator. Market Cipher B is like 3 times as expensive. But for me, it's the confirmation needed for my trading style. It does help keep. I mean, I've made that much money in one trade from that. So for me, I think it's worth it. Okay, the value area high of the whole bull market from 15.5K until now is at 96K. Losing that may believe the game is over. Okay, let's check that actually. I'm going fishing. F this market. Crypto clown world. That's funny. But I understand your sentiment right now. I really do. So guys, on XRP, I would be expecting a drop between like 208 and 204. 208 to 204 is the next big area I'd be expecting a drop to. Let me just make sure. Actually, we're hitting the golden pocket on a non-fib. And the thing is that this local move, okay, 50% move. Yeah, so you could be seeing a bounce from where we're at right now. Let's turn on that 786 as well. Ugh. I don't like it though. I'd rather be looking a little bit lower, but you could see a nice bounce because here's the thing. We're bouncing from the golden pocket, and if we close the daily candle still inside of this channel, that could be a decent wick past it, hit golden pocket, and then kind of just at least it might give us a move back up to 230. Where if we reject 230, then we can expect to come down to value area low. I'm launching my boat right now. Oh, that's kind of awesome though, Crypto Clown World. I hope you catch some fish, man. What are you fishing for? Is the question, and that's actually really awesome. Okay, I'm going to zoom out here, and we're gonna check that volume profile. Now, here's the thing with me, guys, on volume profiles. It's in the name of the tool, but they call it a fixed range volume profile. So you're trying to measure a certain range. So I do understand in advanced trading, you can take a pump and you can measure the pump and look at the value area high. Now, for me, man, the value area high is coming in at 68K, not 96K. But if you look at our entire bull market, you're measuring an impulse to the upside, not a range. And the fixed range volume profile is to get important volume levels within a range, within rangy type price action. So it's not as effective as using it for a range, but this still does work when you have a big pump. Oftentimes you will retrace to an important volume level. Generally, it's your POC if your POC is in the middle there. That is crazy to me. Let me see if we zoom in on the 3-day. So at least on Coinbase, that value area high is at 68K. 68K pretty much. Let's check out Bybit here. Okay, yeah, it's a lot higher on Bybit. But Bybit's is 93K. So here's again, guys, 93K, 92K is very, very important support, right? That's going to be also our golden pocket pulled from the 74K lows up to our all-time high. Golden pocket and the back test of the value area high. So yeah, I would say that is a nice level of support. Bass, northern pike, walleye, and crappie. That's awesome, man. Good luck, dude. That sounds actually amazing. Wow. Tuna Melt, thank you so much for being here, man. And I'm really sorry to hear about that. I hope you're doing better. I hope that virus is out of your system and everything. And I'll send prayers to you, man. But thank you so much for being here. And get well, dude. Get well. The markets, it's great to make money. It's great to have, financial security and everything, but health is the most important thing in the world. So I do hope you stay healthy and or get healthy if you're not healthy and stay healthy and prosper, man. Oh, on Bitstamp, I see Bitstamps. Okay, 96K on Bitstamp. Okay, yeah, one with nature, it is very similar. I do like the money flow algorithm that Market Cipher B has. In some cases, when it's slower, it can be useful for more macro confirmations. Like, we can see that it's been draining since our all-time high here. Now on Nami as well, it topped out and it's been draining. It's just in the red more. I will say Nami is based off actual money flow coming in and out of the asset. And guys, the thing that moves an asset the most is the actual money in and out of the asset. That's it. I mean, that's what it is. So Nami's great for me. This actually looks pretty nice here. 3 lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves, but we need this money flow to start to bottom out off here. So if Nami confirms a third drive of bull div here and the money flow starts bottoming out, we could see a decent bounce, like a decent bounce here. So I'm looking for a potential swing long up to at least 107K, but we're not quite at support yet. Once again, we're not quite at the big support level yet. The two big levels we're watching below us is the swing failure pattern of 98.2 and the 96.6, 96.5 point of control. But to me, it is likely we will continue dropping here. Now that Ethereum has hit its golden pocket, okay, look at that, guys. I mean, how nice is that? Pitchfork midline, the macro. Now, this value area high on Ethereum is a 4-year long range. So we really do need to hold this value area high. Actually, wait, excuse me. Never mind. That is it's our 4-year long range going back to 2021. So you break out of the value area high. If we backtest it and hold, we could at least expect a decent rise up, even if it's going to be a lower high before breaking back into your volume profile. But I would say we're at a critical support level for Ethereum. Very critical. The unfortunate thing is now we have to classify this as a 3-wave corrective move, an expanded flat correction, and we could, in a very bear market, now come all the way back down, seeing that bigger flat correction. I know it sounds unlikely. I know it sounds like garbage, but it's something we need to watch for, guys. And this weekly and POC here, whew. I would not be shorting right now on Ethereum. I think that we are going to see some sort of bounce from here. Even if we do a little bit of a range and take the low one more time and see like a little range form here. See that little like inverse head and shoulders type of thing that we see? Left shoulder head, right shoulder type of thing. Money flow still looks pretty bearish on the 3-hour. Let's go to the 15-minute here. Yeah, okay, no bull divs yet, but look at our money flows now starting to curve up nicely here. So what I would want to see is we have our 0.65 below us. I would want to see Ethereum starting to kind of form some local bull divs here and have this money flow continuing to kind of rise in through here. Nami will definitely give you those 15-minute bull divs quicker than Market Cipher B here. Because you can see Nami's already starting to roll over. If we get that and we get one more low, could be very nice. Let's see. chain link. Hit the bottom of the pitchfork pretty much perfectly. This has to hold, guys. This really has to hold here. We're at support on critical support on many altcoins right now. Let's check our total market cap. So this is how I use total market cap for Confluence. Are we seeing total market cap at support? It's actually losing support, and that means we could come down to the value area low. So that's not a good sign. Because if total market cap was at support, total 3, excuse me, let's check total 2. Both of them. Gosh, that's not the Confluence we want to see, but our total market cap is still not at support. I don't know why it does that with this liquidation, but if we go on to the daily time frame, you will see that that is where the low is at. So coming a little bit lower, guys, it sucks. And Bitcoin still needs to come a little bit lower as well. So maybe we can see a little bit of a move, Bitcoin dominance drop. Let's check Bitcoin dominance out. Let's hope the altcoins can hold up. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is just continuing to push. I think we are going to come back up to this general area. You had on Bitcoin dominance, let me go to the 2-day chart. We had like a 3.5-year long trend. The entire bull market, Bitcoin has been the star of the show. Dominance has been rising and rising. After we hit the top of the channel, we bounced from the midline. We took out the liquidity of the highs, and then we broke market structure bearishly by taking out this low. And once we did that, we expected a more of an altcoin rally, but we bounced from your golden pocket 786 area. But because we've broken market structure bearishly here, the one thing we can look at is, let me go back to the 2-day, a lower high on the charts because market structure was broken bearishly here. Now we can look for, okay, maybe this is going to be a lower low, lower high, lower low coming down to 55%, where our weekly channel midline is. That's this dotted line. It's a weekly channel midline where the last time we hit it, we saw a really nice bounce. But that's what we kind of want to see, is a nice 3-wave corrective move here in dominance, and then you'd see dominance pick up again. But I still think dominance can continue to climb a little bit higher. And then backtest that kind of 3-year long trend. And if we reject that, it could be the start of an altcoin season. USDT dominance is picking up. This is the thing with USDT. We held the POC of the range. We broke out of the value area high, rejected from a golden pocket, took liquidity, but held the value area high. So honestly, I think USDT dominance could be pushing up to near the top of the channel. Now, it's not going to go straight up. We're probably going to see something like this. And unfortunately, guys, this dump could continue, and we could push up all the way to like 6.5 to 6.2 to 6.5% on USDT dominance. And of course, that would mean, you know, probably more dumpage for the markets. Okay, well, thank you, One with Nature. That's awesome. Did we look at Sol? Yes, Tuna Melt, we did look at Sol. So here's the thing with Solana. We're highly likely now to drop to our point of control of our range, and that's also going to be where our pitchfork midline, between 145 and like 143. And we rejected, you can see right up in here, after this is our macro volume value area high of a 2-year long range, or excuse me, like almost 2 years, from March of 2024. And so we got our failed auction breakout above the value area high. We fell back inside the volume profile. We back tested it after bouncing from our key anchored VWAPs. We back tested the value area high, which is also the top of the pitchfork band, and we rejected. And now we're losing the pitchfork band. You can see the daily candle open today was at the bottom of the pitchfork band, a rejection from the bottom of the band. So now it's likely that we are going to flush down, and we're also losing our 2 key anchored VWAPs from the all-time high and from our 96 lows. Those 2 key anchored VWAPs, we really needed to maintain above those in order to see continued bullish price action. Because we lost those 2 key anchored VWAPs, we could say, okay, now is a larger downtrend going to continue. But I am expecting at least a nice relief rally from 145-ish. So we come down here, we bounce, maybe come back up to the pitchfork band before coming back down to value area low. But because we found reacceptance back within our volume profile and rejected on the bearish back test, both the pitchfork band and the value area high, we're expecting a move down to point of control and channel midline. Let's also pull our golden pocket. Okay, that golden pocket, and then we'll pull the macro golden pocket. Yeah, so we're hitting our non-log golden pocket, but here's the thing, guys. This was a 166% move to the upside. The general rule of thumb, and if we look at that golden pocket, that's not actually a 61.8% retracement. It's not even halfway between this low and this high. It's not even halfway from it, just looking by eyeball alone. And a proper golden pocket is a 61% retrace, 61.8% retrace. So because we're on log scale, you need to take that. If it's more than 100% pump to the upside, you need to take that Fibonacci retracement. You go into settings and you click based off log scale, and that'll give you your proper 61.8% retracement. Okay. Many people talking about a blow off top before the bear market by year end. Do you feel that's pretty much out of the question now? Yeah, Khalid, I do feel like that's out of the question. I'm not saying we can't get a nice move up, but here's the thing on Bitcoin, because we are now losing our anchored VWAP here from the 74K lows, we're changing our sentiment from a multi-month bullish sentiment to now we're starting a bearish sentiment. So even if we bounce from some of these support levels, I do think that, yeah, we could get some nice rises in here, but by end of year, hell no. Like, we're not going to get that. Also, and excuse my language, but also higher highs on all the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves, money flow bear divs here. I mean, we have bear divs across the board on weekly, daily, monthly, even the 2-month time frame confirmed bear divs. So it's highly unlikely to me that we get a blow off top like that. To me, what's more likely is the dump that we're seeing right now, like the black swan crashes. Also, we know that like the trade war stuff could be really kicking up. So to me, we saw this coming as far as technicals go, and now the technicals are starting to play out here. Those high time frame divs are starting to play out. I sold everything, brother. I'll never buy another altcoin ever again. BTC is the way to go. Yeah, Fettuccine Genie, I understand that, and a lot of people do have that sentiment. Bitcoin is by far the most stable and the most, in its history, it tends to rise. Like, if we look at Bitcoin against a lot of the altcoins, it's actually outperformed a lot of the altcoins in this bull cycle. So I understand what you're saying. The thing with me is the good projects. Like, we saw, everyone said there wasn't going to be an altcoin season, and for about 2 years now, I said, we're not going to ever see an altcoin season like we did back in 2021 or 2017, but we will see the good projects with actual use cases make new all-time highs. And which ones were the ones that made new all-time highs? XRP, Solana, Ethereum, the big good projects that BNB, the good projects did make new all-time highs, and all the shit coins just stayed shit because no one wants to get into those now. They're starting to understand crypto is 99% garbage. And so, yeah, I do think we're not going to see an altcoin blow off top like a lot of people were expecting. And I don't think that we're going to even, some people were calling for Bitcoin to be at 200K by the end of the year. And like, that's just not, it's not logical, guys, as far as the amount of money they would have to come in on a multi-trillion-dollar market cap for that amount of money to come in at the very end. It just, as far as market cap and economics go and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. BTC really is king. I'm down so bad with my alts. Should be buying BTC. Yeah, I mean, Jerry, I understand that too. I'm down on some of my alts as well, but I have been accumulating Chainlink. I bought some Chainlink at $15 back in whenever this was in here. It was like $14, but in February. And then I did buy around $11 again when we bounced from the bottom of this pitchfork. but I will also, if we come down, and I'm still holding it, and I'm comfortable holding it underwater even for 2 years. But if we come down to $10, I'm going to buy a shitload, because I do believe Chainlink has a real use case and will really be used by real institutions. So like, the thing is, if you're buying altcoins, spot is the way to go, and you also have to be aware that you could be holding long term. You guys, when we were up on Bitcoin, I remember I said it on Jason's live stream, but when we made this all-time high at 124K, we saw the drop to 107K. And after we dropped there, first off, let me pull our macro volume profile. So this range here, but I'm going to pull this range back to right when we were dropping to 107K, right before that. It was at, and let me go on to the daily time frame. Our support level for that drop was right at pretty much that 107K mark. I don't know why it's not showing. Let's see. Maybe I had it to here. Yeah. So you can see that that support level was right at the bottom here. And so I was expecting a bounce from this area. And actually, I was on vacation in Florida when this happened, but I did post about it in the Telegram, and I did have a box there. Actually, I still think I have a box there somewhere. Yeah, see, that was our box of support that we had there. And we were expecting a bounce, but I said, after this bounce, I'm looking for one more new all-time high, and then I think the bear market could start. And if you go back and listen to my videos when we were in this area, that's what I was saying. And sure enough, 3-wave corrective move, one more all-time high, take the liquidity, and now we're starting to really dump here. So we saw it coming. We saw it coming based off of the bear divs, that were forming. And once again, guys, look at this as the range is forming, we're getting continued bearish divergences and money flow draining out of the asset. Almost all the time that I've seen this is where Market Cypher B can be a little bit useful for slower money flow. But as the range was forming here, you're forming bear divs with every new high, and money flows draining out of the asset as the range is forming. It's more likely to be a distribution range. Remember, everything's a probability. It was more probable that this was a distribution range that was about to break to the downside. Just like at the beginning of the year, and you guys can go back and watch the video I made on YouTube. I made a whole video about Wyckoff distribution in this area back here when we were forming the range from November through February, making new highs, showing bearish divergences, and money flow was draining out as the range was forming. I made a video somewhere in this area saying, guys, we're about to distribute down. And sure enough, distribution down, So it does look like this is starting to distribute, and we could see more downside price action. We still blow off top. Could have been 124K. Yeah. Here's the thing, Liberty Interest. Everyone calls for higher prices in a bull market. Everyone gets super greedy and calls for 200K, 250K. I remember back in 2021 when people were calling for Plan B. You remember it was like October, and Plan B was saying, okay, by November, we were like up here in October, right up here in October. And he was saying, okay, the next target is 184K. And then by the end of November, we're going to be at 220K. And then, it was like just ridiculous targets. And once again, look at the massive bear divs, weekly money flow draining out here. And it's like everyone at least thought we were going to get to 100K, but we topped out at 69 and saw a multi-year bear market. Well, now it's the same thing. Everyone's calling for 200-300K up here when we have the bear signals on the chart. And it's just like, Jason talks about this a lot, Jason Casper, and he's one of the best traders, if not the best trader I know. He often talks about you got to have conservative price targets. And if you get, so once you get to those price targets, you start taking some profit. And if it pumps more, great. You still have some on your bag. You leave a moon bag, or you leave a partials open. But if you always have conservative targets and it starts pumping higher, then you're pleasantly surprised. But if you're one of those moon boys who thinks it's always going to come up to 300K, 500K in the next few months here, you're waiting for that to happen, and then the bear market starts. Well, now you're, it's a losing strategy, in my opinion. Big lesson for me with these alts, take some profits when it pumps. Yes, and that's another thing. One with nature, we really have to fight against our own greed in the market. Sometimes we have to be happy with what the market gives us. And that is why when we were up at the total 2 market cap, where I circled right up there, let me zoom into the daily. I was telling people I was taking profits on altcoins as we were hitting into the top of the pitchfork. And a lot of people gave me so much shit saying I'm so stupid for taking profits into an alt season. Because remember, it was December and they said the new year was going to be the start of the alt season. Well, I also bought some down here when we hit into here. But as you know, I guess we didn't quite make it up to the pitchfork midline. I was hoping we would make it back up there before selling again. But you got to learn when we're coming up to major resistances with technical divergences on the chart, technical confirmations on the chart, even if it's not expected a push to where you expect, you got to just be willing to give what the market gives you and take some. I'm not saying take it all off the table. I'm saying, if you have a bag of Solana, take half of it off the table with the intention to rebuy it at lower levels, and hold it. Now, if you're thinking that, hey, I don't want to miss out, then you can start to dollar cost average once it gets close to supports. And then if it rallies, it rallies. If not, you might have to be comfortable holding it underwater for a little bit. And that's why you use spot as well, not leverage on those. Yeah, Liberty Interest, that's a good point. Just like 5 years ago, Bitcoin was at 3K, guys, and Bitcoin pumped to 126K. So yeah, it's really done well in the market. And honestly, let's just be real. The way the markets have been pumping is unsustainable. Like, it's just unsustainable to keep going straight up forever. And I'm not saying we're going to crash down, like we're going to see a crazy crash, but corrections, even in hyper bullish cycles, like 7-year cycles, the market generally runs in 7-year bull and bear cycles on the traditional markets and everything. Nice 7-year pump, then like maybe a year or two bear market, 7-year pump. Now, I'm not saying that's here, but I'm saying when you start to break market structure bearishly, confirm bear divs and everything, you can expect a bigger correction to the downside. And just be willing, to pull the trigger once you start getting bullish divergences down at the bottom of your range or wherever it's going to be. But yeah, a lot of things have pumped unsustainably, and we need some sort of correction, some sort of reset in the market before we can hopefully continue with bull markets. But, $38 trillion in debt for the United States, it's completely unsustainable. JB, I'm trying to guide you guys the best I know how, and I hope that it does provide some clarity for you guys. I really do want you guys, all of my community, to be well and profitable. And I truly mean that. Like, I really hope you guys are successful in not only learning to trade, but also like just, building wealth through investing in the crypto market and everything. Yeah, greed is a hell of a thing. Must be one grounded, realistic. Yes, it is. Tony C, welcome in. Yeah, we're looking bearish, man. There's no way around it. We're just looking bearish. And yeah, pay yourself. Yep. Okay, I want to see Ethereum come just a little bit lower here. But I mean, Ethereum's at this nice support level. Let's see if we can't start to form some sort of range in here. Money flow starting to look a little bottomy here. Okay, now that we have invalidated our impulse on Ethereum to the upside, what we can look for is, in some ways, we could look for a lower high to come in before seeing now lower lows come in on the chart. And we'll have to look at, because this does look impulsive, a wave 1, a wave 2. This could be a wave 3. We could see a small bounce before coming a little bit lower here. Let me check our trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Yeah, your 1.618 is just below. So actually, this would be super nice. if Ethereum started to now grind and make a range in here and then make that one more low, hitting that 1.618, we get a little bit of a push up here. And then, you could continue to push down for that finishing of this impulse down. But let's pull a theoretical fib. Now, this right now is theoretical, but I'm going to pull it from the highs of wave 3 down to that 1.618. And we would be looking to come up between the wave 4 targets, between the 382 and the 0.5 Fibonacci. Now, we knew that 3,500 was a pretty key level. So if we do come up to that $3,500 level, which is going to be right around your pitchfork band, let's pull that same, and we'll bring it down to like right here. That general area is going to be really important. And you can see your macro value area high is there as well. That's your 4-year long range value area high, guys. So now that we're losing it, oftentimes after bouncing from a major support level, you'll come back up, you'll back test that general area. And if you back test that general area and reject, you're going to come lower, and we could come down to 2,700. But if you don't, if you can reclaim it, that could be a nice little fake out back inside the volume profile. And then you got now continuation could be likely to make new highs. So we'll just have to see how that plays out in the next weeks. Mickey, what's up, man? Welcome in. Thank you for joining. And Samuel S., you as well. Welcome in. It's bad, bro. Yeah, we need to see, but nothing has changed so far. Yeah, 97K. It's about 97 to 96.5, Mickey. And I do think we're going to continue down to that area. We do have to watch for the SFP of 98.2. But at this point, it's highly likely that we do. It's highly likely that we do come down there. And once again, if you guys watched my video yesterday, I was really concerned about how we closed the daily candle below not only the value area low of our local range, but the macro anchored VWAP from 74K, our more macro support of that 74K anchored VWAP. And I did say in yesterday's video, yes, we saw a fake out of it once here, but that was, we grabbed liquidity from the crash lows, and then now we had liquidity of the dead cat highs. Once we got back inside of it, it was likely we come up to those dead cat highs, but now this time the breakdown is probably going to be a real breakdown, and that's exactly what's happening. If you go watch yesterday's video, I explained it in depth yesterday in the video. ICP. Okay, let's check this out. Yeah, holy cow. It is really pushing. Dude, this is wild, actually, how much it's pushing. So ICP, and I know I got a bunch of levels in here. Let's just turn off a lot of these levels. I'm going to have to redo the TA on this now because a lot of that's been busted through. But on ICP, we came down, we took out those lows of the bear market, and now we're pushing back up. But this looked like, at the time, this looked like an accumulation range, guys. This really did look good in here. We were seeing some nice bull divs. Money flow was coming up on the weekly time frame. We were expecting like one more low to take out those lows and then to push up. Unfortunately, the big dump happened. But now, okay, this is going to be important. Actually, this is going to be really important because just with today's pump we saw, we have now taken out those double highs. Earlier before, if you go back to watch in March and in June, here, when we were coming up, I was really expecting us, actually, it was this first and second week of June, if you go watch the videos on ICP, I was expecting us to come up and take these double highs up here because we had your range high, you would front run your range high, and then now we had another front run of that. So you had 3 levels of liquidity at the top of your range. Today, we pumped up, we grabbed all that liquidity. Now, if we close below the value area high of this range, it could just be a liquidity grab before a significant retracement here. I'm not saying we're going to continue dumping to make new lows, but what we could be seeing after grabbing the liquidity of those highs is we could see a retrace potentially all the way back down to the value area low of this range. which would be, you know, around 455. We did not get a super nice rejection on the daily time frame. We got a super nice rejection from that resistance there, and that was resistance. It was purple. So as we were coming up there, we were looking for a rejection here. We got the big drop after that rejection, so we can get rid of those now. And then really, this was a level. This was a golden pocket and a naked weekly point of control up here. But that, you can see, that's kind of where we're channel midline as well. That's where we're stopping right now. We wicked up to grab liquidity, and we're stopping at that golden pocket. Okay, let's zoom out a bit and let's check this out. Man, this does look like it could still be a 5-wave impulse to the downside. Wave 1, wave 2, all of this is a wave 3, and that's why we were looking to come down to the 1.618, and then a wave 4, and then one more 5 pushing down. So let's see if we invalidated that with this pump. You're going to want to see, you're going to take your Fibonacci from the highs of wave 3 to the lows of wave 3, and you're going to be looking between the 382 and the 0.5 Fibonacci. But let's make sure this is on log scale because, yeah, perfect. Okay. We're in that zone there between this 382 and the 0.5. If we hit the golden pocket, even the 618 of the golden pocket, that will invalidate. So if we hit that weekly at 730, 723, that would invalidate this as a 5-wave impulse on the weekly time frame. 1, 2, 3. If we hit that 719, it would invalidate it, and we would have to say this is more likely to be an expanded correction, and now we could really start to take off here. But we are at our zone of rejection, and we did wick past it to grab liquidity, which is totally acceptable and actually probable. So the big thing we want to watch for is if this thing just starts to turn right back over after grabbing that liquidity. So, but I don't know why it's pumping like this, guys. I don't know why ICP is pumping so hard when the rest of the market is dumping. Obviously, some major players are buying, but I don't know the fundamentals of it. Privacy coins are pumping, and storage probably. Okay, let me check out Filecoin. Damn, Filecoin is losing some very key support levels, guys. And you can see what we were looking for here is that kind of exhaustion that you see at the end, this kind of chop that you see at the end, and then we wanted to see it break up. But now, with the dump that we saw, we've back tested that, and we're making new lows. Not good. It's a bummer for me. I bought some Filecoin when we hit this value area low, and I bought an itty bit at the POC spot, but I'm planning on holding it for a bit. Because we were seeing such nice weekly bull divs here. 4 lower lows in price, higher highs in the price action. Money flow is coming up. Money flow is coming up. Trump meme and Aster as well as the rest are dumping. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Asia ICP. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely getting the pump. Jelly. Is that a new coin? Let's see. Wow. I don't even know what this is. Holy cow. Be aware, be careful of these guys. Remember, like with Aster and everything, it's going to pump and then it's probably going to dump pretty hard. Yeah, very nice, actually. Very nice respect. Chopping around your lower band. Had a fake out of it, but pump back up. We're above the midline. I think we're going to come a little bit higher here on jelly, just a bit higher, but we're probably going to come hit that pitchfork band above us. Coming up to about 55 cents, maybe even to like 60, 68 cents. Rectful GG. When do I think we'll have at least sort of a slight little bounce so I can go to sleep normally? I think it's going to be around 96.5 or 98K. So at 98.2K, we have some very key liquidity down here. You can see these lows down here. And oftentimes on a dump, you will grab liquidity and at least see a little bit of a relief rally. But 96.5K is that macro point of control area. And because we have fallen back inside of our volume profile and we have confirmed price action back inside of our volume profile, let me actually pull this now back to present day. That POC, you see how we formed this range of the past 3 weeks underneath the value area high of our macro range? That means that we're finding reacceptance back inside 2025's fair value between 114 and 88K, 89K. So because we formed the range and we're now dumping from the range and losing our key anchored VWAP support, it is likely that we do continue down to test that point of control. I'm not saying it's going to happen today. You might just want to go to sleep knowing that it could continue to dump to 96.5 overnight, but around 96.5 or even 98.2, I do think we're going to get at least some sort of relief rally. Money flow looks like pure garbage here, guys. And on the daily time frame, if our daily candle closes this red, that is going to be devastating looking. It's also about to invalidate our bull divs on the 12-hour. We still have man, we've even invalidated the 12-hour bull divs, which is a shame. Potential bull divs, they weren't confirmed. Just doesn't look good. Okay, guys, let me check Bonk really quickly, and then I do got to take off very soon here. Please hit the like button. If you did get anything out of this stream today, guys, please hit the like button for me. And I will be streaming on Thursday as well. Now, I'm going to move my streams up to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, I'll make a video around market close. And then Friday, I'll be streaming again. So please come join me whenever you guys get a chance to. We'll cover the altcoin. We'll cover whatever altcoins you guys post in the chat. And I'll try to help navigate this market the best I can with you guys in these live streams. Okay, so I haven't looked at Bonk in a long time. We have a nice large range here on Bonk. And we're coming down to the value area low. So I would say Bonk is probably at least going to get some sort of bounce around, what is this, 0.00010-ish, 105. But look at the bearish money flow. And honestly, like we did come down on the crash. We came down to this like order block area, this little consolidation area. We didn't hit the daily though. And we might, if you lose this value area low, it's going to look bad. I will say this. This is a nice descending channel that we're seeing here. Oops. Hold on. Let me mark it out right. Nice little descending channel. Unfortunately, that's breaking down as well. It looks really bad here, this being like a 3-wave corrective move. You could say this was kind of like a double bottom. You have your 3-wave corrective move up, and now you could really start be coming down. We've already taken out the lows. I wonder if other exchanges, let's see here. Did I use? Okay, that was Bybit. Yeah. Okay. So you see how Coinbase didn't have that giant wick down there? It's at the value area low right now. And let's pull that channel. So what you want to see with Bonk now, first of all, we took out the liquidity. Finally took out the liquidity down of these lows last time we hit into the value area low. So if you close your daily candle above 0.1143, that's actually going to be nice and like decently bullish, and you might be able to kind of get back in this channel and at least move to the midline of the channel or even to the top of the channel again. The top of the channel would take the liquidity, these internal highs in here, and then you might continue dropping to take out these double lows. But it doesn't, this money flow looks really bad here. Yeah, I mean, slight bull divs, but money flow is horrendous. I would say you really do want to close. Not a good sign there. Okay. You're right around the value area low. You want to close above this general area of the 1143. And once again, you are seeing that kind of descending channel chop you see towards the end of a bearish move. So you get your big flush down, and then towards the end of a bearish move, you'll either start getting a channel or a wedge here. And that's showing that the sellers are starting to get a little bit exhausted. And what you want to see is you want to see that like bounce from a support, like the bottom of the channel in confluence with another support is always nice. And then it usually will at least move to the top. And if that continues, when you get down to the bottom again, you could look for, hopefully a breakout of that channel. Bonk is on Solana Network. Yeah, okay. Oh, super. Sorry, Jaffiel. Yes, Jaffiel, I'm super sorry. Super sorry that I didn't cover super because we'll definitely look at super right now. Okay. Yeah, man. Dang. Jaffiel, you're short the other day from 41 cents is super nicely printing. But here's the thing. We really wanted to see us SFP those double bottom lows and then start to push up here. The fact that we are losing these lows and losing the value area low of our range, I do think we could see a drop down to this area. This is our order block down here, our big daily order block in this general area. And that box is going to be between 24 and 22 cents there. And yeah, we might, because look at, there is nothing in here. There is nothing in here to keep us from dropping. That is a complete imbalance that is going to get filled, a fair value gap that is going to get filled in there. I mean, unfortunately, man, like this sucks, but well, it maybe doesn't suck for you if you're short. But yeah, it's likely that we do come down and fill that order block or that fair value gap in there. And let's see. Yep, see that fair value gap right into that order block. You would fill this fair value gap between where we're at right now, 27 to 25, 24. But you sometimes will bounce from the top of an order block a little bit before actually filling it. But filling this order block into that, filling this fair value gap into that order block would be nice. And if you, God, if you don't bounce from there, I mean, it's getting grim. If you don't bounce from 24 to 22 cents, well, yeah, that's definitely your area. Look at that. It's your macro golden pocket pulled from the bear market lows up to the cycle highs of this cycle. That's your logarithmic golden pocket. And that is definitely more than a 100% move to the upside. That is a 3,100% move to the upside. So you absolutely have to put that on log scale, golden pocket. And if you come down there, actually, that is looking really nice now. I would say that around that 24-cent area is where that order block starts, and you have your 0.65 golden pocket. And then you would fill that daily fair value gap. If we go zoom in onto the daily now, you have that fair value gap in there because there's nothing in there. So there's no structure in this move up. So that is a fair value gap. If you fill that fair value gap into 24 cents, man, that's looking really nice for at least some sort of a bounce. Even if it's this, even if it's a bounce to just back test your range value area low before continuing to drop. But to me, that would be a really nice, at least day scalp trade, potential swing trade. I mean, that's still a big move to the upside. Let's just look at that. That's still a, what, 63, 64% move to the upside? But at this point, I would be looking to at least come down. You're so close to your golden pocket anyway. And then what's probably going to happen is you're probably going to bounce from the 618 initially and kind of start that grindy range that develops in here. It would be really nice to do that. And when this range forms, Jaffiel, we'll start looking at entries. Your money flow right now on the daily time frame is looking pretty bad, but it is setting up relatively nicely. I mean, we're about to invalidate the local bull divs pulled from this low. Yeah, we already have actually. Invalidate the local bull divs here. So coming down there, though, I really do think we're probably going to come down to that 26 to 24 cent area. Okay. Jimmy, thank you so much for that comment, man. I really appreciate that. I don't know if I'm the best. I actually don't think I'm the best, but I do my best to give you guys the real scoop on stuff and try to be as truthful as I can to you. So, yeah, we don't sell unicorns. Yeah, and that's true, Mickey. There is not a lot of liquidity in super, so it could dump pretty aggressively. Where's a good PT on a, I think you mean TP? Where's a good take profit on a Bitcoin short? Well, I wouldn't say 98,500. I would say 98,200 could be your first TP, because why would you take profit before you take the liquidity? You would want to take profit after you take out this low. But I would say what I would do personally if I was in that short, I would wait. If we confirm the SFP, I would take profit as soon as we confirm the SFP. If not, I'm just going to preset a TP at 96.5 or like 96.6 just to be safe. 96.6 is the top, 96.555. So I would set my TP a limit order at 96.555. And as if we come down and we SFP, then maybe I'll pull some out just in case that's the low. And then you start to push up, but not 98,500 because that's before your lows. That's before this low. And if you get that close to that low, it is highly likely you're going to come take it out. I mean, look at the way Bitcoin is dumping, you guys. This is nuts. We are just continuing to impulse down here. Now it's starting to squeeze. We're starting to see some late longers get squeezed out, which is going to cause a market sell on a long is a short, right? So that's why we're seeing CBD decrease so aggressively here. But we know now it's starting to be a squeeze because our open interest is starting to drop here. The scary thing is, guys, this could be just the start of a big squeeze. A lot of people were longing 100K. Now we're starting to lose a psychological level of 100K. You could squeeze out all those people who longed 100K and we can continue dumping here. I would like to say, I was looking at our high time frame liquidation heat maps earlier today, and there really is no liquidity until we get down into like the 80s, like 90s, 80s. I mean, like if we go on to our Model 3 heat map and we look at the last, and this is the aggregated, so it's taking into account all major exchanges. If we look at the last 3 months of price action, this is crazy, guys. There is no liquidity until we get down to like 88K, nothing. So be aware that, I mean, big drops could be coming. If we look at the last whole year of 2025, Bitcoin 2025, that entire range, 82K, you know, we have some up at 92K, which is our important golden pocket value area low. Coming into 92K, we could see some sort of bounce there. But even above us, there's not a whole lot of liquidity. Now, if we look more locally, there absolutely is local liquidity above us. 105, if we zoom out to the last 2 weeks, you'll see that we have some liquidity above us. But the big liquidity is, you know, lower. Unfortunately, it's just looking very shady. Let's see. Okay. Hit the 1.618. How about Chainlink? Did Chainlink hit the... Okay, yeah. Chainlink, I'm really going to be looking for long in here. What I see here on Chainlink is setting up nicely, but that money flow. I'm not longing solely right now. I'm live plus the money flow. I want to see a little bit of a range form in here. And if it does, I will long. I will try to long this. Remember, guys, if you want to get my updates and if you want to ask me questions throughout the day when I'm not live or not on a video, if you do join the Telegram community, I have the general chat tab in there where you can tag me at Divinehood and you can ask me a question. Hey, look, we're coming down to support, and I try to answer the best I can throughout the day. So, and also I will post my analysis and my thoughts on like earlier today, I posted, guys, like BTC is losing that anchored VWAP. I expect this to continue dropping here at least to 101 because earlier today we were not at 101 yet. And so if you're interested, that Telegram community, it's free. All you have to do is sign up with BYDFI with my affiliate link and deposit $100. I mean, $100 is not a lot. It's your money to trade, and you'll get a bonus, and you'll get discounts on trading fees. So for me, it's a win-win for everybody. And then you can get access to the Telegram, ask me questions in there, whatever you want. But anyways, guys, we're continuing to dump here. I do have to go. I'm really sorry about that. I know it sucks to have to leave when the market's being so aggressively dumpage. Right now, I would say wait. Do not try to long this knife catch until we start to form some sort of range or reactive, until you see some sort of reaction. Do not try to knife catch a bottom here. Just wait and wait for important levels to be hit or wait for ranges to form in here before we can get low time frame ranges. I'm talking like a few 15, 30 minute candles, maybe half a day range or something. But when we're dumping this aggressively like this, it is best, especially if you're a newer trader, it is best to wait, you guys. You don't have to catch the exact bottom of every move or try to, nail it perfectly. It is safer long-term for you to have proper, be more conservative with your trading and wait for that proper sign of strength, confirmation to enter a trade. Yeah, there's not a single major time frame that's bullish. You're right, and that's what I've been trying to tell you guys in the chat and in the live streams for the past month, that this has been really bearish looking, and I would not be surprised if we do come all the way down to take the 74K lows. Like, it really is looking like we could drop. And here's the thing. This pitchfork that has guided us so well this entire bull market, we're now in the territory. And I said, I think we're going to come to the lower part of the pitchfork band. But when we rejected this, it was really a concern for me. We took the liquidity of our range highs and rejected our pitchfork midline. Anytime this pitchfork we've had on the chart for literally over a year, and it has shown us major macro moves in the market. Macro highs, dumped, rejected the midline, dumped all the way to the lower part of the band. Now that's important. Midline rejection, lower part of the band. Midline rejection, lower part of the band where your POC is. We could see something very similar. And then as far as our high time frame, and let me show you guys this before I leave real quick. This pitchfork is a very, very important pitchfork, and we tried to break out of the top of it. Okay? You can see how absolutely nicely it's been respected. Range formed inside the band like they often do. We wicked past it, but held the bottom of the band, back tested it, moved up to the midline, formed a range above the midline, was able to hold it, pushed up to the upper band, rejected the upper band 1, 2, 3, and then rejected the lower part of the upper band 4 times. Came down, made new lows in the range. Then we pushed up to the top of the pitchfork. Look at how nice this was. Perfect rejection at the top of the pitchfork. Perfect rejection at the top of the pitchfork. Pretty much a perfect rejection at the top and at the top. But we were trying to break out of this pitchfork, and now we're failing. We could drop all the way to the bottom band, like either to this 99, 89 level, or even all the way down to 82, 83, which we do have some nice support at 83K, 82, 83. But if we lose this band, I think the bear market's in. I think if we lose this, unless it's just a quick liquidity grab, get right back in it and start to form a range in here. We could be dropping as low as like the 50, I would say mid 50s here in the next couple of months. We could drop to the mid 50s. I'm still looking for a potential flat in here. So we'll see that, we'll see how that works. But anyways, guys, have a good day. Please be safe out there. Please do not enter trades that you are not prepared for. Remember, always make a plan. Always calculate your position size. And I will see you guys either in the Telegram or on the live streams and videos. So thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you all.